Hi, grade 12. I hope you're well. So today we're doing a very exciting topic. Some of you might find this topic to be a bit challenging, but it actually isn't. And here's why, all right? I think at some point we have all been exposed to insurance adverts. We have all seen a Dial Direct advert. We have seen a Whole Lot advert. We have seen a One Life advert and Outsurance Change Writing advert, right? So what does this mean? This just basically means we have all seen insurance, right? So then this chapter should go about more or less quite easily. And all of those adverts that you've seen, they are more or less types of non-compulsory insurance, which we'll get into. So our topic for today is insurance, right? So let me just quickly do this for you. Okay, so what exactly is insurance? You're seeing all these ads and people are like, yes, I want insurance, I want to cover myself, I want to cover my family, but what exactly is insurance? All right, so insurance is cover for an event that has a possibility of happening, right? And as this event happens, it might cause some losses or it might result in damages. Right? So when you're speaking of insurance, you're speaking of two main parts. You're speaking of the insured and you're also speaking of the insurer. Right? So the insurer is the one who will give out the insurance contract, and then the insured is the one who will take out the insurance from the insurance company. Right? But the insured cannot start paying premiums for the insurance cover before he or she has signed a contract with the insurance company. You see, grade 10 business studies, you would remember that a contract is legally binding, meaning if one party decides to go back on their word, then the party who has done wrong can take that person to court and say, listen, this person did not stick by the conditions of their contract, so now I'm taking this person to court so that they uphold the conditions that were in the contract. Right. So a contract is covered, insurance is covered for an event that has the possibility of happening, right? And as this event happens, it might cause some losses and it might result in some damages. So we're speaking of the insured and the insurer, and these two parties need to sign a contract so that the insured can now pay a premium. This premium will say, all right, if I suffer any losses or any damages, then you would need to cover me for that as you are the insurance company. Okay, so insurance is split into two main parts. Remember when I started, I said to you, you've been exposed to insurance adverts and all of that, meaning you have seen non-compulsory insurance, right? So two main types, it's non-compulsory insurance and compulsory insurance. Now, what is non-compulsory insurance? Remember, if something is not compulsory, you don't have to do it, right? For example, you don't have to be watching TV when you could be here listening to me explaining the insurance chapter so that you possibly get 40 out of 40 for this section in your prelim exams, right? Great. So then what is non-compulsory insurance? Non-compulsory insurance is insurance that people take out, but it is voluntary. What does voluntary mean? It just means that it is not required by law for you to take it. All right. So you take it because you want peace of mind and just want to protect yourself so that you're covered. So your car is covered, your house is covered, or your life is covered. Right. So non-compulsory insurance is split into two. We have short-term insurance and long-term insurance, right? So I like to think of short-term insurance as insurance for cover for events that have a very low probability of happening, right? So they might still happen, but the probability of them happening is not as high as those events for long-term insurance, right? So short-term insurance is covered for things like fire, your car getting stolen, so that you know, okay, at least if my house catches fire, then those damages I'm covered for and I will get some sort of money, right? And then long-term insurance, this is cover for events that have a very high possibility of happening. In fact, we are almost certain, right? So you would think of short-term insurance as cover for what if events, right? So what if my house catches fire? What if my car gets stolen? But for long-term insurance, think of it as these events are almost certain to happen. So we can be almost 100% sure that they will happen, right? At some point, I will be old, I will go into retirement, and then I would have a retirement package for that, right? At some point, I will die, so then I will take out life cover, right? So we're certain that at some point, like it or not, the person might pass away, right? So then they take life cover. So short-term insurance covers more of your what-if events, right? So the probability of these events happening is there, but not as high as those of long-term insurance. So long-term insurance, we are almost sure, right? So when we're speaking of insurance, there are three main things that you need to know. So you have overinsurance, underinsurance, and the average clause, right? So then what is overinsurance, right? Let's say I have a phone here, right? This phone, let's say it is worth 10 rands, right? But I insure my phone for 15 rands, meaning I have insured my phone for 5 rands more than what it's worth. Do you see? So I have overly insured my phone for 5 rands more. It is worth 10 rands, the market value is 10 rands, but I have insured it for 15 rands, meaning I have overly insured it, right? So if you're doing something over, you're doing way too much of it, right? And then we have the second principle. The second principle will be under insurance, right? The phone is worth 10 rands, but I insure it for 5 rands, right? So the market value of the phone is 10 rands, but I insure it for 5 rands. What does that mean? I have insured my phone for 5 rands less than its market value. Now, with the principle of underinsurance, there comes in what we call the average clause. So if someone has underinsured their items, then you would be asked to calculate the average clause. Why? Because the goods are insured for less than what their market value is. Right. So now this is the part that some of you find a bit iffy, right? But don't panic, very easy. What you need to know, you would need to be able to identify from a scenario to say, okay, these goods are underinsured. So if goods are underinsured, then chances are that I might need to calculate the average clause. How do you calculate the average clause? This is your formula. So you would say the amount that the goods are insured for, right? Divide by the market value of the goods times the amount that is needed to pay for the damages or the losses that is suffered, right? So let's go back to the example about the phone. Let's say the market value of the phone is 10 rands, right? So I insure the phone for 5 rands. Remember, in order for you to calculate average clause, you need to have dealt with underinsurance. So the goods are underinsured. So the phone is worth 10 rands, but I insure it for 5 rands, right? So you would say the amount insured in this case would be 5 rands. The value is 10 rands. And then let's say my phone is broken, and in order for me to fix it, I need 20 rands. So I times all of this by 20, right? Okay, let's do a practical example here. Peter owns a thatched house that is valued at 1 million rand here. It's supposed to be a million, this is a mistake. That house that is valued at 1 million rand. He insured his house with pro cover insurers for 800,000, right? So what automatically needs to come to your head is, oh, this house is underinsured because the house is actually worth 1 million, but Peter insured it for 800,000. So meaning you are going to have to calculate the average clause, all right? A fire in the kitchen cost damages of 30,000 rand. How sad is that? I'm hungry even now and I want to eat, but the kitchen has caught fire. Sad. But anywho, right. So back to your formula. Remember, this is what you're going to do. So the kitchen was insured for 800,000 rand. This 800,000 is less than what the kitchen's market value is. The market value of the kitchen is 1 million, right? So you would say the amount insured, which is 800,000, divide by 1 million times, what is the amount of damages? It's 30,000 rand. You punch that and you put it in your calculator, and more or less you need to get the answer of 24,000 rand. So this is the amount that Peter will be compensated for, right? I hope you're all good. Can you do the second example, right? So let's do this one. I just want to see if you understood, right? So our second example here is Mary's guest house insured their property for 600,000, right? So this is the amount insured, okay? But the property is valued at 800,000. So what is the market value of the guest house? It's 800,000, but the property was insured for 600,000. So what needs to come to your mind is, oh, this is a principle of underinsurance, right? So chances are that I am going to have to calculate the average clause, right? Fire destroyed part of the property and damages amounted to 500,000. By the way, if they're speaking of fire, under your types of non-compulsory insurance, would this be long-term insurance or short-term insurance? Just a question, right? Answer it for me because I introduced that at the beginning, right? So Identify the insurance clause that will be applied to MG's claim for damages, right? What did I say to you? The property is worth 800,000, but it was insured for 600,000. So we started off with underinsurance. So if we're dealing with underinsurance, then chances are that we need to calculate the average clause. So the insurance clause that is applicable here would be the average clause. Great, easy, right? Right? Now, calculate the amount that the insurer will pay MG for damages incurred. Right, so now this is what you need to do. Back to our formula. What is our formula? You say, all right, the amount that the goods are insured for, the amount that the, mistake here, the amount that the goods are insured for, divide, don't mind my divide, right? Divide by the market value of the goods. So market value just means if you were to sell those goods, how much would you get? All right, divide by the market value times the amount of damages. Times the amount of damages. Right. So then this is your formula, and then all you're doing now is just substitution, right? So then we would say, what is the amount insured? We go back here. The amount that the guest house is insured for is 600,000 here. Do you see it? So then we say, all right, this is 600,000. 600,000. What are we dividing the 600,000 by? We are dividing the 600,000 by 800,000, right? By 800,000, because that is the market value of the guest house, but it was underinsured for 600,000. Okay, and then we now need to know what is the amount of the damages in total. The amount of the damages is here. It is 500,000. Okay. And that would be 500,000. All right. Quickly put this in your calculator so that you are able to get an answer. Let me put it in. Let's see. Right. So we have the 600,000 divided by 800,000 times 500,000. Right. Now, the answer that I am getting here is 375,000. Right. So the total for the average clause is this amount, 375,000. Now, how easy was that, right? So what you just need to remember is, okay, so if goods are underinsured, then the average clause comes in. The average clause, I need to know my formula. Your formula is the amount insured over the market value of the goods, and then you times that by the amount of damages, and then you just substitute, you get your answer. All right. So here's what I want you to do. From now on, when you're looking at an insurance advert, try to see if that advert is it speaking about long-term insurance or is it speaking about short-term insurance. Don't just say, hey, change that item, or say, when I die, that whole advert. So just try to identify which type of insurance is it, long-term or short-term. And remember, it is compulsory for you to study well for your prelims, right? But it is not compulsory for you to be sitting in your lounge watching TV when you could be studying. So all the best for your prelim exams, and study, 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 study. You can do this. Goodbye.